Morbius himself, that's right, Jared Leto is hopeful for a Marvel Multiverse team-up with Iron Man, Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, and I'm also gonna get the screen-used almanac from Back to the Future too. So this came from a recent interview that the star of Morbius himself, Jared Leto, had with Screen Rant. And during the interview, the concept of the multiverse was brought up. Of course, Spider-Man is always central to the discussion, and they brought up what he hopes could happen or would happen down the road. And he said that if it comes down to it, what he really wants to do is be in a film with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. And he says that this would be one of the things that's fantastic about what he thinks that they could do with Morbius, along with also appearing next to Venom, which is another one he hopes for. Okay, let's be real. Let's be real about this one. Marvel Studios will never, ever let Robert Downey Jr. appear as Iron Man in any Sony film unless it's connected to the MCU. Sony could, for some reason, if they want, get Robert Downey Jr. to play another character, maybe just call him, well, they probably couldn't even call him Tony, because then that would be legally, obviously what they're going for, and it'd be so apparent that they could get sued into the ground. So they could get him as just some sort of tech billionaire, never name him, and he'd have to have a completely different suit and be a completely different character that doesn't resemble Iron Man at all. So it's not going to happen. I understand why he's saying this, because obviously Sony wants you to think that Morbius is this important piece of the MCU, which it's not. But they're trying to do the good old thing that they tried with the first Venom, that they were pushing with the second Venom, and after the film came out, where they clearly knew Venom wasn't staying in the MCU, but they knew what they were doing, and they're trying to do that again with Morbius, despite us knowing and seeing everything we know and have seen. So yeah, you're never going to get an Iron Man crossover, ever, unless it's in the MCU, and I don't think Sony's going to want to give pretty much everything they own Spider-Man back to Disney to make this a possibility, because that's just not going to happen, and Disney's not going to bend over backwards to make Morbius a part of the MCU that's important. So you're kind of just stuck in you're going to get Venom, maybe. Yay.